Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes, and it's Aprylete Day. How are you, my friend?
Look, every Thursday I say I am here. You know what? I'm going to say I am well.
Good for you. Good
How
for
are
you.
you? Orange
I
is your color.
I am well too. I like this. This is my friend. Uh, used to be in radio, and now she has a business called Girl Plus God, and I just love this orange. And thank you so much.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
looks good on you,
it's a bright.
girl.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I like your hair. Are you still enjoying your short do?
I am, but I will say with this humidity here in Dallas, Texas, yeah, it doesn't last long. So that's why we have it wrapped up. So ladies, if you have a short pixie like me and you need a quick little style, just wrap it up, do a little swoops in the front, you're good to go. So
Good for you. Yeah, because for me, it's just like pulling it up off, and going from there. So it is great to see you. I'm glad that you're here today. Did you have a good week?
the week, what define good?
Okay.
The week I showed up. I'm still alive. I have all my limbs, so it's just like that's good enough.
Okay. It was a good week and you didn't have to use your AK.
There we
Is
go.
that fair to say? Okay. Has the weather been getting to you? Because it is getting, for some of us, it's getting warmer. For others of us, they're not noticing it so much.
Baby, y'all didn't warn me when I moved down to Texas. Y'all did not warn me.
No, it was not the time of year to warn you. Yeah.
Oh, so I would say it's different than the Midwest, of course. Like this sun hits different, the humidity hits different. But it's better than cold, so I'm cool. I'm cool.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love the food
Even as hot as it is, I'll take this over January in Chicago any day.
any day
And
for
it
sure.
gets pretty damn hot, but Chicago in January, February is no joke. Hello,
Right.
Miss Astrology. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Hey, girl.
I just got in, so my pets are just super excited to see me, and I'm trying to be like, move. And they're like, what do you mean move?
Oh,
They're like, show me love, but we love pets
Yeah.
here on the show.
that's
So,
right.
And they're fighting each other. I let my daughter get a cat. And
ooh,
so she's this big and she is feisty. She beats my poor
mm,
dog.
Oh,
My poor dog.
oh. And your dog is trying to be hospitable and amenable, and the
Yeah, but
cat's not having it.
cats aren't very nice. I don't know what I was
No,
thinking.
no.
She's a
mm-mm.
little bit of a terror.
I'm
They
not a cat
feisty,
person
they
at all.
sneaky. Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I actually like her a lot. We named her Saturn.
Oh,
Of
how
course you
fitting.
did. Now, why did you name her
I
Saturn?
just suggested it. I don't know. She just looked like pushing it to the limits and the boundaries. And so I just suggested it, and my daughter loved it. It's her cat, but that cat is harassing my dog. But I'm glad to be here.
Well, who's gonna go first, the cat or your daughter?
Well, my daughter's 15, so it's a toss up at this point.
That's funny. That's very funny. That is funny. I'm glad you both are here. I look forward to
Hey,
our evenings
Yes.
together as always.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about the What You Need to Know newsletter. Aprilette is our mental health and wellness contributor, and one of our young contributors. We have one for politics, one for LGBTQ plus issues, as well as social justice. And Aprilette is here with us, talking about mental health and wellness. And tell us about this report, because when you proposed the story, I was like, whoa, I wasn't sure which category it was going in.
Right.
But tell us about the report that indicates, despite gender acceptance, there are more mental health issues and substance abuse cases in LGBTQ plus communities.
Yes. So the report came from the annual National Survey on Drug Use and Health. So they examined various groups and they found that bisexual individuals in particular face discrimination, invisibility, and a lack of support within the community. The report is saying that bisexual females are 6 times more likely to attempt suicide than their heterosexual counterparts and 3 times more likely to have an opioid use disorder. They also say that bisexual males were found 3 times more likely to experience severe mental illness compared to straight males. And so the report pretty much highlights that mental health and substance challenges were found even more obvious among the LGB, which is just lesbian, gay, and bisexual women and people of color. They have a lot of examples, a lot of surveys that they took, and one of the surveys revealed that 1 in 4 bisexual females experienced major depressive episodes in 1 year, and 1 in 7 lesbians were experienced and more likely to engage in binge drinking compared to straight females. And the researchers can't really exactly explain why the LGBTQ community has more mental health issues and substance abuse challenges, but they have report that sexual minorities experience unique stressors that can contribute to adverse substance use and mental health outcomes. So they also focus this survey just on the LGB, and next year they're going to focus to identify people who are transgender and non-binary.
Wow.
So this is a new study? Like this
this
is
is the report that came out in 2013 from data from last year in 2022. And this report just literally came from the annual, let me pull up the name really quick. So the annual survey on drug use and health. So they asked certain questions and then everything kind of pulled in that pool.
Wow. So they don't give you an indication. I'm wondering if it's because maybe people in the LGBTQ community are a little bit more forthcoming about their issues as opposed to straight people who are closeted in their emotions and things like that.
And they did say when they surveyed people of the community, they say that they experience discrimination and invisibility and a lack of support. So when you think about those things that they're facing, that could be contributed to having a mental illness or engaging in substance abuse.
Wow. Yeah, that's what came up for me when I'm hearing this. I think it's the support or the community part of it that might have people kind of, drinking more, getting into this, let me forget it type mentality a little bit more. Because if you don't have support in a group of people, I was raised by the LGB community. So my mom was a lesbian growing up. I remember they used to call each other family. Like mom would say, oh, she's family. Oh, they're family. And that just meant they were part of the community. And it was a small group, but it seems like now it's like a fight to where before it was private and it was like, we're talking 30 years ago. I'm mid 40s. So, even more than that, it seemed like it was very private and very quiet. But there was like these kind of underground groups, if you would, to where maybe felt a little bit more safer, to where now it's out more. But then it's like, where's my people? Where's my community? Because everybody's fighting, it seems like. Yeah, that's tough. We should go back to just calling them family. Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely gotten out of the family category there. And it's kind of sad, but I'm glad that they're doing some research on it, and maybe some suggestions will come about as to deal with this in the next round of studies and research. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just important for us, just to provide that support as we kind of talked about, and just the understanding, and then also, of course, resources for sure. So no matter, what you identify as, there's always resources to reach out, whether that's NAMI or Mental Health of America or some nonprofits. I know that Trevor's Story, like they cater to the LGBT community. So there's a lot of resources out there if you are feeling, that you need support. So
nice. Very nice. As I mentioned, Aprylete is one of our young contributors, and you can read her stories every week in the What You Need to Know newsletter. We'd love to have you subscribe. Please go to SybilWilkes.com. The subscription is absolutely free. Father's Day is a good time to subscribe for somebody, for a dad, for uncle, for a big papa in your life, maybe.
Send them the link.
No. We want them to subscribe.
Subscribe them. So just sign them up. There you go. Just sign them up.
Yeah, sign them up. And we do want you to open it when you receive it. It will come to your email address every Monday through Friday. And when you get it, open it, please. We would appreciate that, because that helps us as well. One of the other stories talking about is this horrific story out of Indianola, Mississippi. This is a town that's about 100 miles outside of Jackson. And this happened recently, where an 11-year-old boy was awakened by his mother at about 4 o'clock in the morning. There was a domestic situation in the family home where one of her children's fathers came to the home. She had her son, her name is Nikayla Murray, had her son Adarian call the police and tell them to come because she anticipated some problems. By the time the police got there, the father had left, but and she told the police that there were 3 or 4 children inside the house. And so one of the cops, a sergeant, kicked the door before she could even open the door. And she explained to him there were children in the house. And he said, "Come, whoever's here, come out with your hands up." And this little 11-year-old boy who called the police, to help his mom, came out with his hands up. And before he could even step out of his bedroom into the living room, the cop shot him in the shoulder. And so the cop was initially suspended with pay. Now the Board of Aldermen determined this week that he should be suspended without pay.
Absolutely.
And it's an interesting situation. Here we have a black cop, a black sergeant, whose name is Sergeant Capers, and the shooting of a black child, Adarian Murray. And Adarian was in the hospital for about 5 days for treatment of the wounds to his shoulder, to his lacerated liver, and other parts of his body affected. He was released. He had a collapse.
That's more than one shot then, right?
Well, that you would think so, but maybe because his little organs are so compacted. He's 11-year-old kid. Maybe he had a collapsed lung, a lacerated liver, and fractured ribs.
Wow.
So the fractured ribs may have come as a result of falling,
right?
And then the lacerated liver and the lung, collapsed lung may have happened
from the rib.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a horrific case. But they are the mother has she's lawyered up, and they are taking their case against the city, against this policeman, as well as the city, the state, I believe, and this policeman. Everything they say was a total and complete accident. This is what Sergeant Capers' attorney says. The family's attorney says that they are going to be calling a criminal charges against the policeman, and filed a federal lawsuit against the city, the police chief, and the policeman. And they're asking at least $5 million in damages. This is, when you have, usually in cases like this, we're saying this is why you need more black cops on the beat, because you want them to see kids that look like them, and maybe they won't be so prone to shoot. This man shot very quickly, and this little boy who looked like him, same coloring and everything, as a matter of fact, was the victim in all of this. So this is a story that we're keeping our eye on, as well as this is we're getting ready. I would just want to remind people we're getting ready for Juneteenth. So check out our stories in the Friday issue of the What You Need to Know newsletter about Juneteenth, as they had a big event at the White House this week. And the president, under President Biden, this is where the federal legislation was passed and signed, making Juneteenth a federal holiday. Everybody gets to celebrate. So Aprylete, I guess that means no work for you on Monday.
No work for me on Monday. And I just want to say, everybody better show out how y'all show out for Cinco de Mayo and all that.
It's not even a real holiday, by the way.
Exactly. So my folks like to show out for Cinco de Drinko. That's what I like to call it.
Drinko de Mayo.
Y'all definitely need to show out for Juneteenth.
Yeah. There are a lot of events. I know that in this area, especially in the North Texas area, there are a lot of events, and throughout the state of Texas, because this is where it all happened, long time after folks around the country learned that we were no longer slaves, our people were no longer slaves. The word finally came forth to the state of Texas in Galveston, letting them know, Black folks, y'all are free. So there are a lot of events. Now, their concern is the weather, how hot it's going to be. And Miss Astrology, is it very hot in the Houston area?
It is so hot, like in the triple digits already.
Yeah.
All week.
Ooh, girl.
Yeah, like 102. And then we have, 80% humidity.
Yeah. That's what we
So
had here
just
too.
stay in the house. And may I suggest
Stay in the
the
house.
teacher in me, the Sag in me would like to suggest that we all make sure that the young people understand what Juneteenth is
10th is
all
all about.
about.
Yeah.
Like, let's just go ahead and slide in a little lesson in there.
Yeah,
It's
get some
not just
history in
about
there for sure.
barbecuing. Right. It's not just a day off and a barbecue. Like, there's real history and meaning behind this day that we should take some time, teach our kids about, let them ask questions, hop on Google if you don't know the answer yourself, but let's
that.
make it more than just a day off by the pool.
We are very fortunate to live in the same community with the grandmother of Juneteenth, Ms. Opal Lee. And she is a woman who's for years has been pushing for this holiday and finally came about. She was there when the president signed the bill a couple of years ago. Ms. Opal Lee is well into her 90s now, and has appeared at a number of events. They're going to do an Opal Lee walk to keep the memory of Juneteenth alive, and as I said, a number of other events. But you're right, Ms. Astrology. It really should be more. I think of what we do for Dr. King's birthday. It's not a day off. It really is a day on to talk about the dreams, the spirit of Dr. King and Mrs. Coretta Scott King and what they did for this country. Definitely, if we are going to experience this day, then we need to really have the conversations with our children about what this means, and our elders, many who, I didn't really understand the true meaning of. I knew what it was, but it didn't click for me until I moved here, because in Chicago we're like, who celebrates, not finding out about the end of slavery until, months later.
Right.
But there's something about the history that really makes you wonder about the lives of those people and having these conversations about it. So we will talk about that. That is Monday, June 19th, 1865, as a matter of fact, when that happened. And one of the other stories I want you all to take a look at was written by our social justice contributor, that's Coy Malone, in which a Louisiana principal took a look at the hairstyle of a young man in the 7th grade in Slidell, Louisiana, and asked him if his cornrow braids represented his membership in a gang.
When the Crown Act just passed, is that not a national thing? Like, I'm confused. Why are we talking about
No, it's not. It's not. No.
Oh, wow.
Texas just passed the Crown Act, and
did.
slowly but surely other states are getting it. But
I would have said it represents my freedom. Now, goodness gracious.
Well, I hope that his parents got that point across. They haven't said what they're going to do, but they have taken the boy out of this school. He's a rising 8th grader, so they're going to put him in another school where he'll feel more comfortable and won't be accosted by a principal and asking about his gang allegiances due to his hairstyle.
I thought it was colors. I thought your colors you wear represent your gang, not your hairstyle.
Everything changes when people's heads are all screwed up. And some people just don't know what to say. Instead of saying, I like your hair, does that make you a gang member? Or the saggy pants or whatever it is. Or, can I feel it? Can I touch it? No, you can't do that. There's some rules and there's some regulations you should know about. But that is another of the stories that we talk about. And of course, when we will talk about this in just a minute, Ms. Astrology joins us once a month, and we are going to talk about Cancer season. It's on its way, right?
On its way. Yeah, we have about another week or so of Gemini season. So one thing you have to know about Gemini, it's a mutable sign. So this is a transition from spring to summer. So all the things that we kind of took action on and maybe dug our heels in for spring, now with Gemini season here, now we're trying to decide, was this even worth it? Was this good information? Was this a good idea? Or is there something that I should pivot and adjust and be mutable, be changeable, and be willing to let go of as we get ready to start another cardinal season, which is summertime. So everything can't go with us. And that's the thing that a lot of times we say these kind of cliche things like everyone can't go with you. But no, for real, that's what the planets say. Everything and everyone can't go with with us. It's a very social time of year also in Gemini season. I've had some really fun Sunday fun days these last couple weeks. But at the same time, it's like, okay, what from this fun time are you going to take with you? Are you just having a little fun right now? Because you know it's time to get back to work and make some things happen for summer. And because Cancer season is very much, excuse me, about nurturing, it's the bottom of the chart. Whatever it is it has transpired for us in the spring, now it's really time to nurture those things over the summer and to kind
hold on to that, because we're going to come back and we're going to talk about in the what's really going on segment. We're going to give you all the room to expand and talk about Cancer season and about the changes that
they can be confusing even a little bit. You know, y'all know Gemini's the twins. They're like, huh?
I'm over here.
Yeah.
All right. So that is what you need to know. That's our newsletter, and we will now move on to talk about what's really going on. And Ms. Astrology joins us and talks about these changes in the astrological signs. We are still in the coming to the end of Gemini season. So as you're making that transition from Gemini to Cancer, is there anything that we should be concerned about, worried about, or just be open to?
It's really about being open because it is that mutable, flexible, changeable energy. It's real, and because Gemini is a sign that's ruled by Mercury and it's also an air sign, it's really about setting some time aside to think about, like, okay, what information have I been receiving? What have I been saying? What have I been thinking about? Like, and what is the one side? Because all the air signs, specifically Gemini, are both sides. So which side do I want to go ahead and take with me? What information do I want to go ahead and take with me? What people even do I want to go ahead and take with me into Cancer season so that I can nurture it? For a lot of us, Gemini is also going to represent like our siblings or young people around us, or even our neighbors. So this may be a really good time where we're like, you know what, that's a relationship that I want to nurture more as we move into Cancer season, or that's conversations that I want to have more with these family members or with my neighbors during Cancer season. So it's going to be a lot of information. And for a lot of us, specifically if you're an air sign, or you're a Gemini, a Sagittarius, a Virgo, or a Pisces, you may really be confused by this and be like, I don't know which way to go. So it's going to be very much, you could make a list because Gemini rules the hands. Fun fact, you know the saying, I know you like the back of my hands. Gemini rules the hands, and Gemini is also what's very familiar to you. So I feel like that's the correlation in that. So it's like, sit, use your hands, make a list, take some deep breaths, write the pros and cons, and then really make up your mind. And it may not be easy right away, but once we start really getting closer to Cancer season, make up your mind about, okay, this is the direction I'm going. This is what I'm going to nurture. This is what I'm going to really kind of grow from for the next 3 months. We really should be doing things in 3-month increments, you guys. Like I know we want to think big picture, and that's good, but let's do the work in these quarterly seasonal increments. The planets work best like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So Cancer season, we should, and when does the Cancer sign kick in? Is it
the 21st on the evening of June 21st?
So that's the first day of summer, which is another change right there.
Yep, that's what it's all about. The seasons, whenever a season changes, it's always a new sign.
Got it.
It's always a new sign coming in. So now we're going into the summertime. And Cancer rules children. I think that's why they're home all during the summer. Also houses and home. So it's just like we got to nurture the babies, and you know, some of us got to mother ourselves, nurture ourselves a little bit more. But if that's what it is, and that's what's been coming up for you over the spring, then that's what you should work on.
Interesting. I'm not sure what the universe is telling me. I'm in the process of with a car situation as well as a house situation, so I'm not sure what it's telling me.
There. Yeah, and Gemini rules cars and like daily transportation and that kind of thing. I would just really make sure that I'm getting all the information on it and using your hands to Google about this purchase or this decision that you're making. Like really write the pros and cons. The same thing with the house, but moving forward, Cancer season is going to be a really good time to get information pertaining to houses and homes.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. We do want to talk about some famous Cancer people, and give you a list of folks.
I got to look them up early today, y'all.
Yeah. I was trying to be on my job.
Thank you.
And and talk about a number of these people. I think I sent it to you with enough time for you to take a
Mhm.
look at them. I do want to start with two friends of mine who are cancers. They were born not on the same day, but they share the same birth date.
Mhm.
George Wallace was born a lot earlier than Kim Whitley was.
Yes.
But I am
Yeah.
curious about my friends. They were both born on July 21st, which
I
is
remember you
also,
doing a show with Mr. Wallace, Dr.
yep,
Wallace. Remember
yep,
that? And I told him that
yep,
I thought it'd be a good idea for him to invest in some real estate.
yes.
So I wonder if that's what he did. But first, I looked up Kim Whitley's chart.
Mhm.
I feel like she's got a lot of water energy because she does have that Scorpio moon, but she also has Venus and Gemini. I feel like maybe in a quiet way, she's kind of soothing her heart. I don't know really what's going on
Mm.
with her relationally, but I feel like there's something where she's healing from something as far as a relationship or something emotionally goes, and maybe she's going to be open a little bit more to talking about it as we move through the summer. And as she gets that North Node, she has a North Node in Leo, so she might start to feel really good about sharing some of maybe heartbreak or disappointment or maybe emotional things that she's been keeping very private, maybe even I don't necessarily think mental health, but just nurturing her mental a little bit more. And I think these are things that she may come out with and be open with as we go into Cancer season and moving forward about sharing with us a little bit more and kind of feeling like that's what she's been doing in private. It's very healing for her. She's got that Chiron and Pisces, there's Saturn there. So she's really learning to mature and grow through this. It looks really good compared to kind of what she's been through, if you
Mhm.
will. So I don't know her personally. I'm just looking at the chart. So I don't know if that really resonates.
I know she's been through a lot, and this has just been a very busy season for her work-wise. She's
Right.
had a lot of opportunities, and she's been on the road a lot. And one of her best friends is Sherry Shepherd, so they're separated by from California to New York, where each of them are working. And so there's just been a lot of activity and things, and hopefully this will be another good season for her.
Yeah, work is not going to let up for her. I don't know if ever, just because she has Mars in Virgo, that is just a placement that really likes to work. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's just something she's always going to do. And with the Venus and Gemini, it's also a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
right.
And then as
Yeah.
far as Dr. Wallace, I say he just kind of pivot things into real estate. I mean, this is just a great chart for real estate and just owning. He was born on a new moon, or pretty well, really a dark moon, but the new moon was
That would
approaching.
be, yeah, that'd be right for Georgia. Dark Moon, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was born on a dark moon too.
Okay. And what does that mean, by the way?
Well, so it really the time when you actually don't see the moon in the
Mhm.
sky. It's just entirely too close to the sun that you can't see it. And it's right before the new moon. So it's a time when it's just really quiet, really to yourself, really kind of contemplating what the next step is. So I think for Dr. Wallace, in a lot of ways, he's not exactly sure how to come out with saying everything that he's learning in real estate and everything that he's like kind of transpiring and looking really good for him.
Mhm.
But as we get into Leo season and Venus goes into Leo, I think we're going to hear a lot more from him. He's going to be talking a lot more. He's going to feel really proud of himself and really proud of his accomplishments. And he's going to be ready to come out and talk about those things.
I think you're absolutely right. He is working on a project with the great Norman Lear,
Oh, nice.
a television show, and he's been working very hard on that, as well as some other projects that he's kind of keeping close to his vest. But he's also getting ready to go back out on the road with his stand-up comedy. So I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And he's
He's looking at a really good time because he has Jupiter in Taurus and Jupiter is back in Taurus. So he's having his Jupiter return. And then this is going to make an aspect to his Mars in Virgo. I mean, in Scorpio, like this is really good for him. Very transformative, very next level feeling. A lot of work, a lot of money, whether it be from homes or being himself, because he has all this Leo energy as well. So this looks really good. Tell him I said if he needs an astrologer. He already knows me.
or a real estate broker.
Or a real estate agent, because I do that too. Dr. Wallace, I do that too.
One of the things I noticed in coming up with the list for you is that a lot of these famous people born into the sign of Cancer are either entertainers or they're athletes.
Right. Well, a lot of them have that Leo energy. And remember, a lot of us do have this sign that is right before or right after us. Because there's a
Mhm.
cluster of planets that stay close to the sun.
Mhm.
So like Venus, Mercury, Mars, they tend to stay pretty close to the sun. So a lot of them are in the entertainer comes from Leo. Leo loves
Mhm.
to entertain.
Mm.
And depending on where Mars is, this could be athletes as well. But for the most part, it's a lot of Leo energy. So far, both of these charts have also had planets in Leo.
Cool.
Mhm.
Do you have Cancer friends or family in
My
your life?
sister is a Cancer.
Oh, your
That's my
sister
girl.
who's the lucky one who is, just brings money to her, attracts all the money and
Yes,
all
but
of that.
that's that Libra moon. So the difference is it's not really her money that she's attracting. She just attracts wealthy people.
I
Oh,
love
okay.
Very. And they love her. So it's kind of the same thing.
That is hilarious. And it's the Libra moon that
Yeah,
does
it's the
it.
Libra moon. But she's so much fun. And we're going to see Usher for her birthday next week in Vegas. I'm
Ooh, that's
Oh,
so
you all are
excited.
going to be out of control.
I can't,
yeah.
oh yeah, because we were bad for Bruno Mars and it was nobody's birthday. So I can't wait.
Oh, y'all gonna have a good time.
Oh, we're gonna have a good time. We were so exhausted on the flight home. I needed like 2 days to recover. We
Yeah.
all did. My poor mom.
Oh, that's funny. Your mama went with you?
Oh yeah, and we drug her right along like we was the same age.
That's
I
funny.
love
Is she
it.
going to
Poor
go to
thing.
see Usher with you guys?
Yeah, she's going to see Usher.
I
Oh, that's
love
gonna be
that.
so
I
It's
good.
gonna
love
be
that.
so much fun. We can't wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the singer Her.
I love her.
I do too.
I
do too.
love her. She's again a lot of Cancer energy. She's got an Aries moon though, so I think this is where if you've seen any young videos of her when she was younger,
Mhm.
how confident she was. Like even as a child, she was very confident. And I think that with this Cancer energy, she's got Venus there, Mercury, the sun. I definitely wouldn't be surprised if she's purchasing real estate or looking to settle down in one place at this time. But also with this Aries moon, this could be a lot about she's got things going on for her as well. It really feels like kind of a calm energy for her right now. When she's made it through Aries season, she's kind of settling in. And I think that's where this is really taking her to be as settled as possible. She's like, you know what? I've been doing a whole lot. Let me just kind of chill for a second and take a
Okay.
break. Yeah.
And it sounds like it. How you sometimes hear a lot from when they're promoting something, and then there's a lull as they're
Mhm.
working on their next. And it sounds like that might be where she is in her space. Aprylete, do you have Cancers in your life?
I do. My two best friends are Cancers.
That makes sense that they would be your best friend because you're a Pisces. And so that's
Mhm.
another water sign. So of course
Yeah.
y'all probably all sit and drink wine and cry or complain a little
Yeah,
bit
pretty
or
much. Yeah,
fuss about
yeah,
something. Try to pump each other up but still cry about it type stuff. Yeah.
it's wild because we've been friends, both of the girls. They're like my childhood friends. So like we've been friends for almost like 15 plus years. And of course I have other like people in my life, but those are my core people and they're Cancers.
Yeah, that makes sense. Very nurturing sign. I do like them a lot. Can I answer some of these questions?
Of course.
So I have one in here. It says, Miss Astrology, how do you explain Leos that do not enjoy entertaining? You look at the rest of the chart. So the first thing that would come to mind is what is Saturn doing to that Leo sun sign? Because remember, Saturn says no. Saturn blocks things. So for me, it's like, okay, is Saturn in Aquarius or is Saturn coming from another sign making a harsh aspect to where the Leo's like, no, not me, not me.
Mm.
Or are there other signs in Virgo? Virgo is a very like nervous sign. It does not want any attention. It'd rather be in the background, crossing the I's and dotting the T's, like keep the camera away from me. So you look at the whole chart, and this is why I tell people all the time, we're not just our sun sign. You have to
Right.
understand your full chart.
The whole chart.
The
Yeah,
whole chart. Yep.
absolutely. That's very
Yes.
interesting. You have another one there you like to answer?
It says Cancerians like the spotlight. I don't necessarily think that they do. If they like the spotlight, they have some planets in Leo. Yeah.
Well, a lot of these people who are Cancers, one of them, which I find very interesting, Mike Tyson, the boxer.
I like him.
When's
Yeah.
his birthday?
Hold on, let me go to his birthday. It was June 30th. And he's got that Sag moon. He's got Mercury and Leo. So it's showing up again right there. So that's like, I like to talk big. I like to talk about myself. I talk a big game because that means that Mercury and Leo is going to make a positive aspect to that moon. I'm very confident in myself. You can't tell me nothing. Additionally, he has a lot of Gemini energy. He has Mars and Venus there. Gemini likes to talk also. So this is, and this with him, he has Jupiter in Cancer. I think this is why he's like big, because Cancer is kind of, they tend to be kind of a big sign, like bulky in a way, if you will, or big in some kind of way. But again, he just has a lot of, well, he's got that Mercury. He's got a lot of very social energy. I actually would not be surprised if Mike Tyson is finding love coming up here soon. And I really, something about this is coming to him intuitively to me, but he's got this Venus in Gemini, and then he's got this Leo energy. So he may be kind of keeping some romance close to the chest for now, but I think it's going to come out if he is in a relationship. I think he is, though.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah. If not, it's good.
Another one, an entertainer is Missy Elliott. This is a good time for her. She's been, inducted into the radio to the Songwriting Hall of Fame, and she's still out there producing. And I saw her last night on a special about Aaliyah, and it was something about her relationship with Aaliyah, just as a creative force. She just seems to be that kind of person. Do you have anything on Missy?
Yeah, she's got that Libra moon, so she was money bound from the very beginning. She was definitely going to make some money. What I love about her and Aaliyah's relationship, Aaliyah was a Capricorn, so they were each other's opposite, and I think they really balanced each other out and really did have a really great friendship. And this also looks like her being more social, getting out there more, talking a little bit more with that Venus and Gemini. And see, if we're looking at it, it's either that Leo energy that we're seeing or that Gemini energy that we're seeing, that like, I'm social, then I'm not. I'm braggadocious, then I'm not. Like this is kind of the way that the astrology works. So she doesn't have any planets in Leo, but she does have them in Gemini, and then she's got that Libra moon. So I think for Missy, she may just get back to kind of writing a little bit more or doing more of that kind of thing. This actually looks a little bit like a quiet season for her. That the most that she was going to come out is kind of what we saw. We may see a little bit more from her as we go into Libra season, just with that Libra moon of hers, like feeling good about kind of showing and coming back out. And maybe even for Leo season, because she does have a lot of Aquarius placements. But this chart screams Missy Elliott. She's got a lot of air. So great writer, great producer of things, maker of things type energy. I love it. I love Missy Elliott.
I do too. I'm a big fan of hers. I like her style. I like the way she does business, and I like her music as well.
Yeah.
We have reached the end of this segment, as it goes too quickly, and so perhaps we'll be able to revisit it. But I do want to get into some trending topics and news, as there is a lot happening today. I got a text from a friend saying, who made your sweatshirt?
Well, let me see.
Well, it's a Girl Plus God.
Oh, I love it.
And my friend Crystal Lee, who used to be the co-host of the Willie Moore Jr. show, this is her business, and so you can look her up. You can just go Girl Plus God.
I love that.
And support her, sister, in her business. And she is on a really great path right now. She's getting her degree from a theological school in Atlanta. So I'm really proud of her and what she's doing in this change. So Crystal Lee, Girl Plus God. Ms. Astrology, I do want to point out that this would be a great time for people to perhaps get dad or your brother or your uncle or whatever father figure in your life, get them a reading with you. How can they reach out to you?
Very few men get readings. I'm telling you guys, I wish they would get more. CosmicallyLit.com to book a reading with me. And they're very private. They're recorded if you want them to be, so that you can go back and rewatch them, because there's so much information in the 50 minutes that it's hard to take it all in. And they're very confidential. I don't share your information with anybody else, even if someone else refers you and wants to come back and ask questions. I act like I have no idea what they're talking about.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's hard when you got a teenager, like just like you're opening up and talking about their child, and then mom comes the next day, like, what did you say? I'm like,
nothing.
He's gonna have to show you that recording if you want to know.
So another dated reference, you're like Sergeant Schultz. I know nothing.
I know nothing. Nothing. Which one's your daughter?
No, which one's your daughter? hotter.
Yeah.
Some of the other things that are going on: damaging winds, possible tornadoes, toppled trees, damaged buildings, and blew cars off of the highways yesterday as powerful storms crossed the south from Texas to Georgia. And tornado watches have been issued again as severe weather outbreaks continue. 20 million Americans from Kansas to Florida are on alert today for severe weather, including tornadoes, intense wind, and huge hailstones.
I talked about that in the newsletter for Cancer season. I definitely think
Right.
that we're gonna get there's, and this isn't even really about Cancer season as much as it is about Jupiter being in Taurus. For me, Taurus is very Mother Earth, and then when you add Cancer to it, that's a very kind of motherly sign as well. But we have to remember Jupiter expands anything, so that's why we're already seeing record temperatures here. And I do think that for the next year, we're going to get a lot more about what's going on with weather and earth and water. And I think Cancer season, I do expect that we're going to start getting some hurricanes. This is just Jupiter and the sun, and they really do like each other. But just because Jupiter likes you doesn't mean it's going to be good. Like Jupiter's like, whatever you want to do, I'm going to make it even bigger. And Cancer's like, well, I want water. Jupiter's like, water for everybody.
And nonstop. Yeah.
And nonstop. So I think it can be a lot.
I'm sorry. I think that the whole wildfire thing in Canada is something I don't remember in my lifetime having seen this, the number of wildfires and the kind of spread that it has made across this country. That is crazy.
It's crazy. And I would even think that it probably, if we go back 12 years to when last time Jupiter was in Taurus, there's probably some of this same kind of thing going on that we're seeing come back, because Jupiter does this every 12 years. So
wow.
We'll see what happens. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready, people.
Okay. A tornado watch was in effect this afternoon from Mobile, Alabama to Albany, Georgia to Tallahassee, Florida. Also in effect for much of Oklahoma, parts of northern Texas. This is not funny, but it is it's kind of crazy when whatever I'm watching, whether I'm watching something on DVR or watching something live or whatever, those tornado watches and the reports from the weather department come in, and it will go. Oh, it doesn't, like I said, if I'm watching something on DVR, it'll pop in and tell you, okay, here we go. And it's on the regular. It's like every day we're getting this more and more. The National Weather Service says that this is, it's not going to stop. And as I mentioned with Ms. Astrology,
the astrology agrees.
Yeah, and the heat,
all of it.
And there's a lot of concern about not only the temperatures, but the humidity in the state of Texas, and already starting those 100 plus degree days, 80% humidity and what have you. And they're just asking people to please look out for your folks and to check on your neighbors and your family members as well, because we're having power outages as a result of the storms. And that power grid is a little tenuous here in the state of Texas. And that is a great concern. In Alabama yesterday and near the state line of Georgia, they said that no injuries, but they did confirm tornado damage in the town of Eufaula, Alabama, and a storm collapsed a wall of buildings and down 30 or 40 trees and completely uprooted like huge trees, with with the base, just lifted up and into buildings or just missing buildings. So please be very careful. Severe weather threats continuing into the weekend from Alabama, Georgia into the Texas Panhandle and Oklahoma, parts of northern Texas, as I mentioned, as well as southern Kansas, and the 100-degree temperatures and the extreme humidity.
And I actually expect it to kick up a little bit more during Cancer season. Like I really do. As we're heading into summer, that's just something for us all to be mindful of. If you live in Texas, you already know about your hurricane readiness. Like really this time, get it together, you guys. Jupiter's contributing to this one. We really should get it together.
Yeah. Whatever that means in terms of flashlights and batteries and radio and get your medicines as well as water. And make sure you got that water.
Girl, what did I get myself into?
You know what? You've lived through this. You just didn't know it.
You'll be all right.
Goodness gracious.
She'll be fine.
See, I've always like had my parents and stuff like that
That's
with
what
me.
I'm saying.
Now it's just me by myself.
So the first time I moved to Florida for my first radio job, and the hurricane was coming, and I had no idea how to prepare. My mother's like, we've done this before. Here's what, and she said, and just go to the store and
Right.
get, and I was totally flummoxed. And so I would just
call your
follow
mama.
people around the store as they were picking up things.
Picking up stuff, you was picking up stuff.
Yeah, because I was like, they've lived here, they know what to expect.
Right.
And getting batteries, getting a flashlight, getting candles if you
Getting
can.
a friend with a generator.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
That's a good idea.
Yolanda and Ward and I are still waiting for the other to get a generator.
Well, whoever gets one first, that's exactly where I'll be. So, make me a pallet.
But y'all are in Dallas. Do you guys really get affected by the hurricanes there?
We don't. We do get tornadoes though, and
right?
The power outages. Okay. We don't get the hurricane force winds, but it's getting pretty close to it, as well as during the the winter of the Armageddon.
Oh, y'all get it worse then.
Yeah.
So
I'm used to the tornadoes because in St. Louis we stayed on tornado watch. So
in Chicago too. Yeah. So the FDA advisors are recommending that COVID-19 boosters for fall should drop the original strain. A panel of outside advisors to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration voted today that COVID-19 vaccines should be updated for the fall as the pandemic continues to recede from daily life, but the coronavirus shows no signs of slowing evolution rather. And so the advisors voted unanimously the new vaccine should protect against one strain of the SARS-CoV-2 virus, a departure from the currently available bivalent vaccines, and should target one of the three that are currently circulating. That's XBB 1.5, XBB 1.16, and XBB 2.3. They're all sublineages of the Omicron variant. So we know about the Omicron variant. These are all the baby Omicron variants that are spreading as a result.
Did you hear about one that looks like pink eye or something?
Yeah, there is one that is a lot of concern for people that
no, literally, it's a whole nother, and it shows up in the eye.
It shows up in the eyes. Yeah. But that goes to Aprylete. We just don't wash our hands the way we were during the pandemic. You know what I mean? It could be connected with the coronavirus, but it also means we're just not washing our nasty hands, and we're
so
not
everybody get back to washing hands
as diligent.
As it should be.
And like, what's wrong with wearing a mask? Like, I don't understand what the issue is. I was like, I can talk to myself on the other side of this mask, and nobody will even know. Like,
I'm not mad. I keep masks. I wear them into the stores. I wear them, I'm like, I got to go get a rental car. I'm going to wear it inside the rental car till I can clean it out and make sure it's okay. All of those things, I'm just, just hyper attentive to those things. And I'm not mad at you. I'm right there with wearing the mask.
Right
there.
Yeah. Sybil definitely has some Virgo in her chart, y'all. Definitely.
Did you all have a horse in the NBA finals?
Not at all.
Well, outside of the wins themselves, not a lot of good news surrounding the Denver Nuggets NBA championship win. Today's victory parade resulted in 2 people being shot in downtown Denver near the parade route, and a police officer was also hospitalized after being hit by a fire truck during the parade. That womp womp, bad news, a schlep rock there. Also, in addition to this, the former this isn't funny. The former UFC champion Conor McGregor is denying an allegation that he sexually abused a woman at Game 4 of the NBA Finals when they were in Miami.
I saw that today.
She says she was assaulted by him after being forced into a bathroom in the Miami Heat arena. The woman has not been identified, but was allegedly forced into the bathroom by security after the Nuggets beat the Heat 108-95 on June 9th. And the lawyer for McGregor said that the allegations are false. Ms. McGregor will not be intimidated. The Miami Heat said it was aware of the allegations. They're conducting their own investigation, and pending the outcome, they said they will withhold further comment, and the NBA has not responded. But it just seems like there's a cloud over this whole thing.
And wasn't it the Nuggets' first ever franchise win?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of hard to hear that. Like, you want to celebrate and be excited with them, and then you're like, well, what is happening?
And the MVP, Jokic, he lost the MVP award, the trophy.
Physically lost it?
Yeah, he physically lost it, and it took somebody else to find it. But he was like, "Thanks."
Yeah, he comes across a little goofy like that, like a little,
Definitely
like,
goofy.
A little loosey goosey, a little, it's a little airhead.
Yeah, he does, but he's a
But-
great fundamental player.
Yeah. And he's a generous player too. I
Yeah.
mean, he's one of those guys who really, passes the ball around.
He
So,
seems oblivious.
it'll be interesting to see what his career is like. Millions of Google search users can now claim settlement money. Anyone who used Google to search and clicked on a link in its search results. Now, check this out. Between October 25th of 2006 and September 30th of 2013, who amongst
That was
us?
me.
Right.
Like everybody. But
Pretty sure
what
that
was
was me.
search?
They can now collect part of this $23 million settlement as long as they submit a claim within the next 6 weeks. It stems from a lawsuit, a class action lawsuit that alleged the search giant violated users' privacy by sharing their search terms to third-party websites. So you Google
Facebook.
something,
Data privacy. Yeah, let me get my claim.
and then they say, "Hey, Aprylete's looking for this." And
you know, that
Now you get the ad in your
privacy stuff
Facebook
is so
feed.
real.
exactly. Yeah.
Everybody getting $2.
Yeah, everybody's getting and it's not as much as you got with the Facebook lawsuit, but
Right.
definitely to qualify for the settlement, you have to make a claim by July 31st. This is really scary in terms of Monsanto and its parent company Bayer have reached an almost $7 million settlement with New York over the Roundup weed killer safety concerns. They said that for allegedly making false and misleading claims regarding the safety of their products. These are the products. The Roundup has been proven to cause cancer in the people that have been using it.
Monsanto is dangerous.
Yeah. And Monsanto has a history of it.
Yeah.
And so they are claiming in the advertising their Roundup consumer products were safe and non-toxic. Not true.
That's not true. And remember, we talked about this. I definitely have talked about how important it is for us to get back to natural, organic, the natural way to kill pests, like the pesticides and stuff like that. And so with Jupiter and Taurus, a lot more truth is going to come out about the food, the ground, the soil, all that Mother Earth stuff. We're going to get more money, more truth about finances, debt, like all of those kind of things. Some of it could be good, but ultimately it all has the potential to be good if we're willing to pivot and learn from this.
That part right there.
That part right there. Yeah. Absolutely. Let's move to entertainment. I'm not sure what her sign is, Ms. Astrology, but Kerry Washington is celebrating a big. She's a Sag.
Always know my Saggies. Yeah.
She is celebrating the completion of her autobiography called Thicker Than Water. The actress, director, producer, and activist is in celebration mode. She's finished her 4 years in the making memoir, which will be released September 26th. She said, writing a memoir is by far the most deeply personal project I've ever taken on. I hope that readers will receive it with open hearts, and I pray that it offers new insights and perspectives and invites people into deeper compassion for themselves and for others. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I was wrong. She's an Aquarius.
Really?
The end of January 31st.
Okay. Well, it's close. According to the press release, her book will give readers an intimate view into both her public and private worlds as an artist, an advocate, an entrepreneur, a mother, a daughter, a wife, and a Black woman. So good on her.
Can I say this was not easy for her to do? I don't think this was easy for her to do. And this probably took a lot of convincing for her to open up about this. There was a couple of questions here where people were saying that they've been told that, as there's some Aquarians in the chat that are saying, well, I've been told that we're hard to love. We're not emotional. They're a very logical sign. So really somebody had to come with her with facts, like how this could really be a logical, good decision for her to make. This was not easy for her to do, and she's probably been contemplating it for a couple of years.
Well,
Yeah.
I have some Aquarius in mine. That's familiar to me too. Ms. Astrology, thank you so much. We're going to close out with our daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewel. Sometimes we don't know how much we love someone or something until we lose it. So be present. That's the one thing that I always stress and recognize that, things can go in a second, and be present, take in the moment. So we wish that for everyone, to be present, young Aprylete.
Yes. One of my favorite quotes is, "Today is a gift. That's why it's called the present."
Right. Yep.
Mhm.
Exactly right.
That's a really good
Absolutely.
one. Yeah.
I thought she was leaving us. She didn't like what I was saying.
Somebody
Decided to come back.
Somebody learning out.
She's learning. She's decided to come back.
Ladies, I appreciate you. It's always a good time when we get together. Have a cosmically lit Cancer season.
Thank you. Happy new moon, you guys. There's a new moon this weekend.
Yay,
Really good time.
new moon.
Yeah, set aside some time to decide what you're going to nurture as we move forward into Cancer season.
And start with yourself.
And start with yourself. Nurture
Love
you.
that.
Absolutely. Thanks, ladies. I appreciate you. And we'll
Thank
see you all
you.
again real soon. Aloha.
Thank you. Bye-bye.